June 1942. The Pacific is wide, silent, and filled with uncertainty. A vast ocean where decisions are measured not in kilometers, but in hours, information, and the ability to strike first. Across that ocean, 4 Japanese carriers sail with absolute confidence. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, veterans of Pearl Harbor, symbols of a navy that has dominated every battle since the war began. Their mission is simple: destroy the last American foothold in the Central Pacific, eliminate Midway, force the United States into negotiations, seal Japan's control over the ocean. To them, it looks like the final step toward victory. But Midway holds a truth that will flip the entire Pacific War upside down. A truth that doesn't start on a carrier. It starts in a quiet room in Hawaii. Weeks earlier, inside a cramped signals office at Pearl Harbor, American codebreakers stare at fragments of Japanese radio traffic, numbers, letters, encrypted messages that the Imperial Navy believes are impossible to break. But human systems always have patterns, and every pattern can be exploited. Commander Joseph Rochefort and his team begin digging. They don't need to break everything, they only need to break enough to see the shape of the enemy's plan. Slowly, the fragments form meaning. The Japanese keep mentioning a location, AF. Tokyo assumes the Americans are blind to it, but the Americans test a clever trick. They order Midway to send a false message. Their water plant has broken. Hours later, the Japanese report that AF is short of water. The trap works. AF is Midway. Now America knows the target, and they know when the strike will come. This changes everything. Information turns the Pacific from a battlefield of chance into a battlefield of calculation. Admiral Chester Nimitz makes a decision that defines the rest of the war. He will not defend Midway from the island. He will defend it far from it, at sea, where Japan expects no major American forces. Enterprise and Hornet are ordered to take up hidden positions northeast of the island. Yorktown, damaged at Coral Sea, should be out of the fight for months. Instead, she is repaired in just 72 hours, barely seaworthy, but seaworthy enough to join. Japan believes they are facing a weak enemy. In truth, they are about to face all 3 available American carriers. From this moment forward, Japan is not the hunter. They are moving into a trap designed with precision. June 3rd. Shortly after 9 a.m., a Midway scout plane spots the enemy, a vast fleet, right where Nimitz predicted. The information chain works. The message reaches U.S. command instantly. American commanders do not panic, because nothing is a surprise. Japan's plan is complex, multiple task forces, a northern diversion, timing upon timing, layers of assumption. They believe complexity is strength, but complexity is also fragility. Every assumption must hold. If one breaks, the entire plan collapses. The Americans understand that. June 4th, 4:30 in the morning, Japan launches its first strike on Midway. Bombs fall, fires rise, the island shakes. Yet the airfield remains functional. The Americans can still launch aircraft. This survival forces Japan into a dangerous decision. They begin rearming their aircraft for a second strike. Right on deck, fuel hoses everywhere, bombs exposed, planes crowded tightly together. It is efficient, it is fast, and it is the most vulnerable moment a carrier can ever face. Meanwhile, American aircraft begin taking off. Some from the island, some from the 3 carriers hidden to the northeast. The first wave to find the enemy, the torpedo squadrons, slow, underarmed, forced to fly low and straight, a gift to enemy fighters. They know their chances of survival are almost zero, but they also know their role is critical. They must force the Japanese CAP, Combat Air Patrol, down to sea level, and they succeed. The torpedo squadrons are destroyed, but they take something with them: altitude, time, attention. The sky above the Japanese fleet is suddenly empty. 9:20 a.m. American dive bombers are still searching. Clouds hide the enemy. Fuel is running low. Some squadrons have already turned back. And then, a gap in the clouds. Below them, 3 Japanese carriers, decks crowded with fueled aircraft. Ammunition scattered everywhere. No fighters above to stop an attack. Midway becomes a demonstration of how timing decides wars. 10:22 a.m. American bombs hit Kaga, Akagi, and Soryu. In seconds, fuel lines become fire lines. Bombs chain detonate. Aircraft turn into fireballs. Flames climb higher than the masts. Thousands of liters of aviation, fuel spread disaster across steel. 3 elite carriers, the core of Japan's striking arm, are gone in minutes. Japan has no time to process the disaster. They react. Hiryu launches 2 counterstrikes and badly damages Yorktown. But late in the afternoon, American scouts find Hiryu as well. The dive bombers come again. By sunset, Hiryu is burning uncontrollably. 4 carriers, 4 catastrophes, all in a single day. A loss Japan cannot replace. Not the ships, not the air crews, not the experience. From a distance, Midway looks like a clash of 2 navies. But that is the illusion. Midway is a clash between 2 forms of thinking. Japan believes decisive battle means overwhelming force. America believes decisive battle means superior information. One side brings strength, the other brings knowledge. Strength collapses, knowledge endures. The Japanese plan never accounted for the possibility that the Americans already knew. They assumed surprise was theirs. They assumed initiative was theirs. They assumed the enemy was broken. But assumptions are weaknesses disguised as confidence. The Americans carried no illusions. They expected sacrifice. They expected risk. They expected uncertainty. What they did not expect was luck. They built a system where luck was unnecessary. Midway is proof that the side which understands the battlefield first wins before the battle even begins. After June 1942, the Pacific changes shape. Japan can still fight, but they can no longer expand. They move backward, island by island, fighting a war that now belongs to time. And America has the time. But the legacy of Midway is more than turning the tide. It is about redefining naval war itself. Battleships were once kings, armor, guns, symbols of old power. Midway buries that belief. The future belongs to carriers, to reach, to initiative, to the ability to strike at the moment of opportunity. From Midway onward, America builds a doctrine around foresight. See first, decide first, strike first. Wars are no longer decided by who fires the most shells, but by who controls what the enemy cannot see.